How's it going, everyone? I am Splatdude431, and today I am here with some more Pokemon news. So today, a new Pokemon has been revealed, and let's see if I can pronounce this right. It's Magiana. Right, okay. So here's what we know about this new Pokemon so far. And you can see it on the screen right now. It is said to be, it's classified as a man-made Pokemon. No type has been revealed so far. It has a metallic body, and the text said it was made by human hands. Quote, it was made over 500 years ago, and it says the Pokemon Volcanion is chasing this Pokemon because it knows its seeker, but what is that? We do not know that yet. And the next movie will be called Volcanion and the Contriving Magiana. Alright, so here's the interesting thing about this. First of all, this is a new Pokemon. They straight up say new Pokemon. And I know it's not like official or anything yet, but it's in the newest Korokoro scan. And as we will know, when something's in a Korokoro scan, it will pretty much end up being true, unless it's fake in an obvious way. This isn't. So if this is a new Pokemon, then that's pretty interesting. Now it does seem pretty very likely that this actually is a new Pokemon, but do keep in mind that sometimes when they say it's a new Pokemon, that doesn't always mean it is. Like, you all knew that before Pokemon X and Y released, that Mega Mewtwo Y was labeled as a new Pokemon. And that's what, for a lot of time, people thought it actually was, until they revealed that there was going to be a new mechanic in the game called Mega Evolution, and that Mewtwo is actually Mega Mewtwo Y. And we didn't even know it was... And we didn't even know that there was more than one Mega Mewtwo. That was the Y version. That's how crazy it was. And yet they called it a new Pokemon, yeah, and yet clearly it isn't. So what is this? This is probably a new Pokemon though. From the way it looks though, it doesn't bear any resemblance to any other Pokemon I can think of so far. But since it is new Pokemon, well, at least that's the likely chance at this point. What does that mean? Because right now we know that Game Freak typically follows a pattern. They will release the first two games, then they will either choose to release a remake or not, and then they follow that up with either a third version or sequels in the case of Pokemon Black 2 and Pokemon White. So most people were suspecting, Pokemon Z, like the newest games, the newest games in Pokemon Generation 6 were Pokemon X and Y, and people thought, hey, X, Y, Z, the next Pokemon game is Pokemon Z. But some people also thought that it could be Pokemon X2 and Y2, which also makes sense. But this might just throw both of those theories out of the window and just say, hey, they're just going to skip it and go right to the next Gen 7. And in fact, on the popular Pokemon fan site Cerebi, they are already listing this under Generation 7 Pokemon. Yep, even they are that much convinced. And I am too, honestly, really. But they still don't take out the possibility that it could not be a Gen 7 Pokemon. They say it's not. It says these Pokemon are currently not known if they will be part of the next 7th generation or somehow inserted into the current one. But this page will be updated and moved accordingly as the information is wrong. So they made a new page, in case there's more Pokemon, since, if it's a new generation, there's going to be way more Pokemon. But have they actually ever inserted a full new Pokemon during the middle of generation? No. They've inserted forms. Now that's the thing. They have inserted forms mid-generation. Yes, they have. But well, as you know, in Pokemon Black and White, there was no Black Kyurem or White Kyurem. There was just Kyurem. And then in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, then there was Black Kyurem and White Kyurem, which those games introduced. And when you battled using those Pokemon with Pokemon with a player who has either Pokemon Black or Pokemon White, it would just simply result in either of the Kyurems just looking like the regular Kyurem on the other person's screen. You see what I mean? Forms don't make that much of a difference. Like, they can just change what it looks like. It doesn't matter. And in the case of Pokemon X and Y, when Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire were revealed, new Megas came out. Those were not surprisingly patched into Pokemon X and Y. And yet, instead, whenever you have a Pokemon battle between X and Y or Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it will just simply say, hey, these Pokemon you're using, these items you're using, they weren't in X and Y, which the other person has. You can't use them. And if you do, it'll simply just kick you out of the battle. Yeah. And a new Pokemon, like, that's the same issue. So it's definitely new generation. It has to be. They cannot add a new Pokemon. It will just have to be. Otherwise, there would be no point. It'll be restricted in pretty much the same way as the new Megas are, which is pretty much ridiculous, honestly. So, if it's a new generation, then what about this whole stuff about? Then what about this whole stuff about all the unfinished things of the Chaos region, which is where Gen 6 takes place in? Like, we don't know what Zygarde Secret is. None of the forms have been incorporated yet. So is that going to be in the next game? It has to be. Well, anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to leave a like because it helps out the channel a lot, and be sure to subscribe if you want to hear some more Pokemon news. Alright, bye.